2. Can't hear you yet.
Second. Check.
2. All right. Live now. Will we go live? Live.
Check. All right, go ahead, talk. Can you hear
All
something?
right. Test. A bit louder, please. A bit louder.
Cool.
2, 1, 2. All right. Test. A bit louder, please. Is that good?
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Yeah,
Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, let's go. Are we good? Let's go on Instagram. Let's boom. All right, YouTube, we are with you. I think we are with you. Instagram, we're with you as well. LinkedIn, we're with you. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Goffy. It is that time of the day. Grab your coffee cups. If you do want any merch for the show, just get in touch on Instagram at the Paul Goff. Tell us where to send it, and we'll ship you some beautiful Coffee with Goffy mugs to your office. Starbucks would be jealous of these, I believe. So please get in touch, and we will send you them with my compliments at the Paul Goff. Get in touch, let us know. So how are you? How's everybody? Come on in, say hello. Welcome to today's episode, Tuesday. What a show we've got for you today. The gathering of the Planet Paul community around the world, almost daily now, is building. So it's good to see everybody. Type into the chat when you arrive on Instagram, when you arrive on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and wherever else you are listening to this podcast. It is wonderful to have you with us. We've got some topics to discuss today. We've filtered the questions. Like I said, if you are following along with the show, everything comes into us from Instagram at the Paul Goff, and we occasionally we will make sure that you remain anonymous if you ask us to do so, because some of these questions are getting a little spicy. Let's just put it that way. So, but that's what it's about. That's what this show is all about. So, nice to see everybody. It's wonderful again to be here, and I'm excited to get into today's questions. Before we do, the big thing that everybody's asking me about right now is Los Angeles. Why are we headed over to Los Angeles in May? Because we're going to bring together the best of the best cash PTs from around the Planet Paul community. It's been 10 years since we started this amazing journey that we're all on together. My life has certainly changed, and hundreds, probably thousands, no exaggeration, of cash PTs have had their life changed in this last decade. I can't even imagine how many hundreds of thousands of patients have had incredible access to incredible treatment and great providers. Hundreds of millions of cash pay revenue has been made. What lessons we've learned along the way. And in Cash Pay Summit in Los Angeles in May, we're going to share with you the story and the journey, but most importantly, we're going to tell you what's working right now in cash pay physical therapy, because I am worried for people who are still thinking that cash PT is all that it's, what's the phrase? It's not all that it's supposed to be, or it's not. What do they say? What's the phrase? It ain't all that, or it's not. What is the phrase? Come on, producer.
I'm trying to think.
It ain't all that. Yeah,
that's close enough. It ain't like that. It ain't like that.
It ain't all that, right? It's everybody thinks that you start this PT business, and because you've gone cash, and there's lots of people who'll give you a T-shirt saying I work for patients, not insurance, and there's people who write books saying fuck insurance and all this stuff, right? And that's wonderful, and it's all sound bites and hype and fantastic, right? But the reality is it needs a lot more than just a fancy T-shirt or book title to grow a real business. And even 10 years ago, when people started cash practices, it was revolutionary. You could literally start a cash practice in your bedroom. You could start it in a garage. You could start it in a gym, and it was very, very easy for people to expect to be successful. And that was then. But today, not so, because the one-on-one model is almost unscalable anymore, simply because of this one single word, and it's called expense. Unfortunately, expenses have caught up with many cash PTs who are finding it very, very difficult to scale their businesses. Expenses of staff now, expenses of premises, expenses of marketing costs, systems, going through the roof like never before. Certainly in my 20 years of running a business, I've never experienced the cost of running a business and the resistance to people wanting to pay for things because of that cost. So what is happening around the world, it's not just happening to you if you're a cash PT. The resistance isn't just your town, it isn't just your treatment, it's legit. It's happening to many who are trying to scale one-on-one. They're running into trouble, and what we find is many of them, even if they get to $20,000 on their own a month, they cannot get past 50, which is the sweet spot. If you want a terrific life where you don't have to treat the patients all day every day, you need to get above $50,000, period. Fact, proven beyond any reasonable doubt. We get you to 50 grand. We start talking about how you don't treat patients every single day. You might want to treat some on a Monday or a Thursday, which is what I used to do. But once we get you past 50, there's a little bit of clear air there. So the dead man zone, the danger zone is 20 grand to 50 grand a month. And that's what people are getting trapped in right now. And, don't let that curb your ambition, your ability to live a terrific life, because it can still, as long as you learn the new rules. So cashpaysummit.com, we're headed to Los Angeles. Come and see us, get in touch on Instagram at the Paul Goff, or head over to the page, request your ticket information. There's free hotels on offer. We will be in Los Angeles, spread the word for us. Gathering of 200 PTs, 3 days or 4 if you want to work with me on the pre-day, and one incredible special night. It's called the Cashies. You've heard of the Grammys and the ESPYs. Well, we've created the Cashies, and we're going to recognize and celebrate the mavericks of the cash PT profession, people who have gone before you, who went out and have got knives in their backs and have survived and have built 7-figure clinics and making $300,000-$400,000 a year, and that is no exaggeration, using the new model now for running a cash PT clinic, which puts AI at the heart of almost every decision inside of the business. Many of you are not ready for that, but you need to get ready for it, because this is happening whether or not you like it or not. Don't bury your head in the sands like most PTs do. And they do, by the way, for forever. Like, most of them still couldn't spell Google ads or Facebook ads, or still think that workshops are too much hassle, right? Like, this is what everybody always does. So don't do this with AI. You're different. You're better. You want better for yourself and for your family. So come and learn it with us at the CashPay Summit, May 1, 2, and 3. Right, that's my opening line. Let's get into the show. What do we have? Producer Jay, hit me. And again, for those of you who are new, the uninitiated to the Coffee with Goffy segment, you do get your coffees. Mine's an extra hot latte, 3 sugars. And I don't know the questions in advance, so hit me.
All right. We got Michael Turner, Orlando, Florida.
Close to home.
Very close. I owe the IRS $160K, but I just hired 2 new staff. Did I just make the biggest mistake of my life?
Oh, is he asking if he's cooked?
Is
he cooked? Tobias would say to me, I cooked. I said, how was your day yesterday, son? He said, I cooked this kid at recess. And I was like, well, what? First of all, what is recess, right? I'm like, I've never heard of recess. It was a break time when I was a kid, right? So I get what recess is these days, but what is cooked means he
cooked left
him
him
on his ass.
like he got him, like he did him in
basketball.
Yeah,
it was basketball. He was playing basketball against some kid and he cooked him. So it sounds like this. What's this guy's name?
This is Michael Turner.
So Michael sounds like he's cooked.
He's fried.
He's fried, right? He's KFC fried. Yeah, are we at that level? Michael, we'll get to answering your question in a minute, but right now we're just having a little giggle at your 160K expense and the IRS catching up on you. No, we're not. We're not. Michael, I do appreciate the question, and I'm going to do my best to answer it for you. So Michael's got $160,000 in debt from the IRS that has caught up with them, right? As many business owners find, the IRS do catch up with you in the end. And even though you're a healthcare professional, we do have to pay our taxes, right? It isn't, unless Michael has been running a non-for-profit, not-for-profit, which, by the way, many clinic owners do run non-profits. They just don't realize it. They started LLCs or C Corps or S Corps, but they are running non-profits. But in this case, Michael owes 160 G's and he's just hired 2 new staff. Is he cooked? I don't think he is. But I've got to dive into it and we'll have a good discussion about it. 160 grand, right? It's, for anybody hearing that who's a non-business owner is panicking, right? Because there's no possible way, if you're an employee, it's very, very difficult, right? You've got a student loan, probably, you've got a mortgage, and the IRS lands 160K on you. Now, the reality is, I suspect, there's some negotiation with the IRS around how this gets paid. And is it over 3 years? Is it over 5 years? There's a way, right, to negotiate. I suspect the IRS are not asking for 160 grand tonight, right? There'll be somebody out there that's going to be able to help negotiate a payment plan to get this thing paid back. And the best thing about being a business owner is that your income is infinite, right? You don't really have a ceiling, as I've discussed many times lately on the podcast. You don't have a ceiling as a business owner. And it is what drew me to being a business owner in the first place, the idea that I didn't have a ceiling, that I could make as much money as I want within reason. Right now, I'm not expecting to make Zuckerberg level money or Jeff Bezos level. Frankly, I'm not desiring that type of level of wealth. But I did want over and above what maybe the average salary would be for a physio in England, which, wasn't great when I was 21, 22. And I looked at that and thought, well, even if I become a physio and I'm the best physio, it does have a cap and it has a ceiling. And so the only route is business ownership, where I can leverage OPT, right? Or OPS, other people's time or other people's skills. And I understood that concept very early. And when I realized that, I always have lived with the business mindset, a business owner mindset, that my income was never set. Whatever I earned last year, it didn't have to be a 3% rise this year. I could set lofty goals to increase it by 25%. In fact, there isn't a year goes by where I wouldn't be looking for a 20-25% increase for being a business owner in what I take home. I might not always get it, but I'm certainly hitting that target, or that's my standard at the start of the year that I'm working aggressively towards. Because other than that, there's no reason for all of the hassle and the shit that I have to deal with on a daily basis. So what I love about this is that he's hired anyway. Now, I suspect many people would say, don't do that, right? There'll be a hell of a lot of people out there, the skeptics or the people who've never ran businesses, who to 160 grand is just the end of their life if that type of thing arrived. But for a business owner who's battle scarred, who's got some reasonable skills in marketing, who makes decisions, who can hire and so on, we can find, right, that might break down to be over a 5-year term, 3-year term with the IRS. It might end up being $3,000 or $4,000 a month, right? That could be that level. But I'm sorry, and this will land however you want it to, for a business owner, we can find $3,000 to $4,000 a month with price rises and selling whatever customers we've got today, other products and services. Now, to me, hiring more staff isn't unsensible if I have a genuine business plan, a real hunger and desire to implement the right strategies into my business. So if I am like most of the world who do nothing, by the way, and just kind of, the reason that most people are in debt in the first place is because they don't do anything. And I've said this before. And this is the only thing that worries me with this guy in Orlando, this PT in Orlando, is, are you in debt because is the debt a lagging indicator of your behavior? If the 160 grand debt is because of bad decisions in the business, right, which it nearly always is, right? It's just stupidity, right? There's two ways to be in debt with the IRS. There's absolute oversight in the whole process. And I didn't pay my taxes on time, and I was living a lavish lifestyle because of the business's success. It is very true that I could have a very successful business and still owe the IRS a lot of money, right? It's two different things. I could have a very successful business that spits out $300,000, and then I just refuse to give the IRS its money over the next 3 years. Well, I'm going to be landed with a big tax bill. Eventually, they're going to catch up on me. But I've got a successful business. But equally, I might owe the IRS $160,000 because I have a shitty business, and what little profits I've made over the last 3 to 5 years, or payments I needed to make, I didn't because I needed them as cash flow to continue running the business. And that's usually the two predicaments that you find a business owner is in. They either have success in a business, but they're not very smart with finance, in which case in their personal life they've got debt everywhere. It doesn't matter how much money they make, they never have enough. They're always spending it. They've got more month than money, right? The runway runs out. And even though a $300,000 or $400,000 salary is amazing, by the way, great lifestyle wherever you live, except California probably, but it's a terrific life. And yet nearly what you always find is somebody makes that level of money, they spend every dime of it, right? If they're flippant. And that means that they're probably not necessarily conscious of the dues and the fees paid to the IRS. So all of a sudden 3 years later, it's like, oh, I'll get round to that, I'll deal with that. And it's like, shit, now I've got a mortgage and I've got the private school and I've got this flash car and I've got these obligations with holidays, and my wife expects a certain level of life, and even the dog's got a 5-star hotel out the back of the house. Well, I'm a good businessman and I can make money. I'm just not very good with my affairs. Two different things. Or I could be a shitty business person who puts off decisions, is commercially unsavvy, is dreadful at marketing and sales and general commercial awareness, is a great physio, but lets my staff walk all over me, can't make decisions. I'm systemless. I'm clueless when it comes to marketing. I've relied upon doctor referrals inside an insurance system. And as a result, I am just keeping my head above water. What little taxes I do pay, I chose not to because I needed the $5,000 or $10,000 that I should have paid, but I kept it in my bank because that paid the rent that month, and I had that habit for however many years. Well, if I owe the 160 grand there and I've hired 2 staff, I'm in trouble because I have a history. My history precedes me that I'm not very good at executing on the ideas that I've got. And in which case, this guy is cooked. If you are owing the IRS that much money because you can't make decisions and you've hired 2 staff, you're cooked. But if I've done all right in business, I've just got an oversight and a little bit of a habit of spending more money faster than I should, well, I've probably got the commercial savviness to go earn 160 grand. I just need to add the discipline and the focus to be more conservative with what I owe, right? Like, it's a fundamental, you have to pay taxes, right? And you should, right? I don't wake up any day thinking that we shouldn't, right? I do think that the government have overstretched now, and it's beyond any reasonable doubt that it's idiocy how much business owners are expected to pay, and even the successful people, how they're always needed to, what's the phrase I always laugh, carry their fair share or pay their fair share, or Kamala Harris's favorite, the ones with the broadest shoulders and all that nonsense that you hear. I flatly disagree. I think, which I'm not getting into in this podcast, but that's another story for another day. But I don't think that he's cooked. But what will make the decision as to whether or not this guy makes it out alive is how he uses the 2 staff that he's brought in. Will he replace himself from doing tasks and instead spend more time on things that are more leverageable, like marketing and sales, building better offers, implementing concierge, staff training, raising prices, training staff on objections, depending upon what staff he's bought or brought in? Did he need them all? Could he have gone voice AI? Could he get rid of 2 staff that he doesn't need now and replace them with a staff AI? There are all sorts of decisions. But I'll take this back to, you're not cooked. 160 grand to some people is a serious amount of money. But for most business owners, we're comfortable with those numbers. And over a 3-year, 4-year period on a payment plan, yes, it's $3,000 or $4,000 a month. But I'm sorry, there's not many businesses who are listening to this who couldn't go and find $3,000 or $4,000 a month with the right pricing, the right packaging, the right offers, the right upsells to other products and services, with the right marketing, positioning themselves as authorities, raising rates from 150 to 300, moving clients from 6 sessions to 12 sessions, stop selling pain relief, move towards prosperity as I teach my clients, completely just change the way that you see the business and what you are inside of the business. That is a 3 or 4 grand a month instant transformation. And in fact, I'd put it to anybody listening to this, and back by 10 years of doing it, those are the simplest things that you can do in a business to get that first launch. They're easy, right? If we can't do those things, then you won't make it in business, because the next challenge is the people and the hiring and the organizational chart and the culture and the leadership and the development managers and cash flow forecasting and dealing with the responsibility of 20 people's lives and mortgages. If you can't handle price rises and packages and selling something else, get off the pot, right? Seriously, like shit, or get off the pot, whatever they say, because that's going to kill you further down the line. Because these early things, they're easy. You might not like them, and they're a bit tough and they're a little bit awkward because you have to learn how to sell, and you've got to know how to price and what to say and all of these things. But that's the game at 0 to 20,000 a month. 50 and beyond, people, 2 staff coming in, now I've got to be a leader, now I've got to be a manager, now I've got to deal with emotions, and now I've got to deal with criticism, and now I've got to deal with people talking about me in WhatsApp groups, and somebody I fired leaving me a bad review on Glassdoor, and how does that make me feel, and how does that affect me, and my relationship to myself and how I feel about myself. These are the real challenges. The IRS own them 160 grand. If you've got a business, you can make that work, and by the way, you have an obligation to make it work, so you should be paying the fucking thing back. However, given that you have an asset called a business that is highly leverageable, this is not a big deal. And the smart way probably is staff to help you, so long as you execute on the plan. And it will have to be a marketing plan. It will have to be a sales plan that involves raising prices, selling more frequently, and having patients come back to you more often than they are today, probably evolving your marketing message, and probably and most definitely adding another product. If I wanted to add 4 grand a month to any business today, I would simply find a product that sells to the audience that are most likely to walk through the doors, and I would build an internal sales system to sell it. And within 90 days, I guarantee you, whatever the business is, I would be making $3,000 to $4,000 a month easily. And it isn't, isn't that the ideas are out there. It's just quite simply, will you do it, right? So I don't think he's cooked, depending upon who he is. If he's got here because he's brilliant with commercial, awareness and marketing and sales, and he's made too much money or a lot of money, but he just hasn't paid the tax bill, for whatever reason, and that happens a lot, by the way. There's a very big difference between somebody who's creative and very good at making money, and then somebody who is cautious with their money and astute with their money and is a planner. It's actually one of the biggest challenges that business owners have, because the side of the brain that makes the money is very different from the side of the brain that keeps the money and invests the money. Just let that sink in. The side of the brain that makes the money, the creativeness, the big ideas and the confidence and the ego and the bravado of running a business that is absolutely needed, is very different from the side of the brain that has to learn to keep the money and then multiply the money, because that's ultimately the game that we're playing. Can I make it? Can I keep it? Can I multiply it? And unbeknown to most, it is different sides of the brain. And if you over-index on being good at making the money, it quite often means that you are not very good at keeping the money and then having the discipline to learn how to multiply it. And equally, if you are the type of person that is very good at keeping the money, you're probably not very good at finding the money in the first place, because that side of the brain is very logical, which wants to keep it and hoard it and not spend it. And when all money is made on the side of the brain that's creative and commercially savvy. So again, everything leads back to self-awareness, and that's what this podcast is about. It's not about quick fixes. It's not about tactics. It's not about workshops. Everybody listening to this wants something more. It's at a level above of how you think and understand yourself. And I've said it for a decade to my clinic owners. When I can help you change the way you think and change the way you see the world and the challenges that you've got, then and only then does the magic happen. That's why so many people enroll in other coaching programs and they get great tactics or they get systems or they get this, and nothing changes because they don't understand how to use these things or how they feel about themselves when they run into problems inside of the business, which goes beyond a system or beyond something. So I think, and I hope that that's helped. Interesting one to start with. That's for sure. What else? Where we go next?
All right, we got Charlotte.
Well, let me say hello to everybody on Facebook. We've got Chris, the AI guy. Nice to see Chris. We've got Zane. I've got GG Reginald. Nice to see you, GG. We've got footfocus.ie. I think that's over in Ireland. We've got Keep Fit Mummy joined. We got Recivilized 101. We've got The Real Mad Villa. We've got I Am Turtle 09. Spry PT have joined. They've just got a free plug. Ali0903. Spry PT, you guys should get involved at my next big event, by the way. The Cash PT in LA. Come and see us.
Should have one on your screen up there.
What else have I got? Have I got one up on YouTube?
Jimmy McKay, yeah.
Jimmy McKay says, what up, Paul? Jimmy from New York. Nice to see you, Jimmy. Yeah, it's been a little while. Nice to see you.
He said, it's not all that cracked up to be. He's responding to your the 160K to the IRS question.
Yeah, I mean, welcome to running a business, Jimmy. Somebody's put filters on this thing, which is quite interesting on the Instagram. I've currently looked like a 16-year-old gal with a flower in her hair. So, was it me? I quite like it. Leave the filter on. What do you think of the filter, guys? I'm not sure. Who's been using this for, Maria?
I don't know.
Maria, have you been playing with the filters? Because I currently look like a teenager with a red flower in my hair, which
that must be a new.
Instagram finds it very funny. I'm good with it. Just leave it. Leave me. I think I look better with the filter on. How do I get myself a filter? Come on, give me a nice filter. What did I do? Jason, nice to see you as well. Come on, give me a filter, somebody. Just not one with shit or something on it. There we go. No, that makes me look a bit old. Hollywood. There we go. Whatever. Play around with that. Right. What's next? Let's go back to the questions. What's good?
All right. We got Rachel Simmons in Charlotte, North Carolina. I accidentally sent a voice note complaining about my staff to the staff group chat. Am I screwed?
So, the question, Instagram, just in case you didn't hear, I accidentally sent a voice note complaining about my staff member to the staff group chat. Oh shit! Right, ultimate nightmare for a business owner. I don't know what would be worse: a letter from the IRS on them 160 grand, or sending a voice note inside of the group chat slagging somebody off in the group staff chat that's a staff member. Am I screwed? Wow. On the face of it, yes, but probably not. in all honesty, because as always, I take this back to drum roll. Have we got drum rolls yet? Let's get our sound back. Drum roll, if I had one, would be that it goes back to leadership, because the reality is what you've said is right. What you did, was a mistake, right? That's it. Let's just break it down to what it was. It doesn't really matter, right? In fact, it might have done you a favor that you've actually done something that you might not have had the balls to do, but done it by mistake. And I used to talk to my staff about this before, right? When I was running my clinic, and still do to this day. I haven't got time. I haven't got time to worry about your feelings, right? And I'll say this, and I said this fucking 12 years ago, and I'll say it again in 2026, in spite of the bullshit PC world that we live in, where everybody's got feelings and everybody's a snowflake, and the fucking wind would blow most people over, right? They're that fucking weak. A stiff drink and a fucking strong wind would blow most people over these days. I as a business owner, I have no time for your feelings, and I'll say that, and I'll expand on it because of this. And I actually did this as an experiment, right? And I was going through a phase in the early 10s, and I'd read a book on this. And it was called Human Sigma, and it was amazing, and it was all about how to manage people, how to deal with people, and how to understand people, and so on. And something really interesting came out of the book, and it talked about how everybody interprets everything differently. So as a leader, one of the things you don't pay attention to is people's feelings, because you don't dictate how they feel about anything. They do, right? They do. And it's not my job to worry about their feelings. It's my job to be fair and consistent and firm. Empathetical when I need to be, but firm and fair and consistent. So I did an experiment in my office, and it basically went like this. I got 12 of my staff lined up on the couch, on the sofa in my clinic, and I said to them, I want you to write down, when I say the word summer, SUMMER, when I explain the word summer or say the word summer, write down what it means to you. And the first one said barbecues, and the next one said pool parties, and the next one said long summer days, long light days, and the next one said holidays, and the next one said time in the park with my kids. And they basically explained to themselves how every one of them interprets everything differently or something differently. And I haven't got time to help them understand as a leader of a business. I don't have time to understand or to say something and then worry about how they're going to interpret it. My job is to say what I need to say, do what I need to do, and then let them worry about how they interpret it. Because if 12 people have 12 different definitions of summer, well, they're going to have 12 different interpretations of anything that I say in my office. And as I've gone on this journey over the last 15 years since then, nothing has become more true as I've watched other clinic owners, other business owners struggle to grow their businesses. Once they get past or at a level of, let's say, 5 or 6 staff, they struggle to move beyond it, because now there's a consensus inside of the business where everybody's worried about how everybody feels. What started life for this business owner as something that was quick and they were fast and they could make decisions and they didn't have to consider how people felt or how it would be interpreted if they made decisions or said things, has now become oh shit, how do I get that past 6 or 7 people? And what if Sally doesn't like what I said? And what if, Dave, he wasn't in on Thursday when I said that. What if he doesn't like that? How do I deal with him? And so in the end, I start dealing with everybody's feelings, which I can never manage, by the way. If I lived to 300, I'd never learn how to manage anybody's feelings. Ever. I can learn to manage my own, and that's the only thing that I can do. So in the case of a business owner, and I said to my staff back there and then, and I remember it clearly, the point of the exercise was to remind them that every one of them will interpret what I say and what I do differently. That's up to them. I cannot try ever to try and understand what they might feel or think about what I say in the business. I'm here to be consistent and firm, not always right, but consistent, firm, and fair, with the goal of growing a successful business in mind. And if I say something that somebody doesn't like one given day, then that matters not so much as the fact that what I was trying to achieve by saying it, and this is where I'm going with it, it matters not in comparison to what I wanted to achieve by saying it, because I wanted to be judged on that. Why did I say what I said? I said what I said because I wanted you to be better, or I said what I said because I wanted the business to win. I said what I said because I didn't care for how that customer was treated, and I wanted that customer to be treated better. So it isn't how I say it, it's what I say it. And if I went into certain businesses today, and definitely in certain states, by the way, and I always take it back to this, that some of these states are obsessed with some version of, it's not, but Paul, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. And frankly, I haven't got time for that. I haven't got time for how I say it to be even a factor in this business. It's absolutely about what I said. If I said that you're not very good and all you can say is, but I just don't like the way that you said it, that how you said it hurt me, you are about to try and distract me from the truth and from the challenge and the problem that this business has got. Because my business's problem is not how you feel. My business's problem is that you didn't follow the script. And so if I point out to you that yet again you have not followed the script and you don't like the fact that I raised my voice when I said you haven't followed the script again, you are attempting to jump the train track. You are attempting to take me into a conversation about your feelings, not the fact that you won't follow the script that you're being paid to do. And that, just give them a nudge out there for us, Jay, because I might be getting feedback here. Or close that door. That is absolutely 100% what this, even in this situation, for me, comes down to. Yes, we've said what we needed to say in a voicemail. And yes, it wasn't supposed to go in the WhatsApp group where all of the staff could hear it. But frankly, it's actually probably one of the best bombs that you could do. In fact, for some of you listening, I would encourage you to play this game. Start fucking doing this type of thing. Send some random texts into the WhatsApp groups and say, oops, sorry, didn't mean to say that you were all shit. All right, and let's just see where it lands and let's see where it goes. Because you will know as well as I do who's going to react the way that they're going to react. So I don't have a problem with this at all. And I think it just goes back to leadership and knowing how to deal with these things, which is where it's ignorance is bliss, guys. You can't keep running a business without learning how to manage people. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. You're trying to run a race that you can't win because you've got one leg when the guy against you's got two. You're managing people and you're dealing with people all day, every day. To think that you can do this by being in a treatment room for 45 hours a week and that somehow makes you qualified to handle the emotions of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 staff is frankly absurd. I don't know how it's even allowed that people are allowed to do this. It's like I feel that strongly about it. You're just not giving yourself a chance to ever be successful with running a business. You'll be a great practitioner and you'll have volume and you'll have numbers and you'll have people on the books and you'll walk home on a night and think, look at me, I've got 1,000 people coming through these doors every month and I've got these 8 staff. But at the same time, you'll get in that car and drive home for half an hour on your own in solitude and think, what the fuck is going on? And I know that that's how you'd be thinking. You just don't have the time to learn how to deal with people and how to manage these situations. So another thing that I would be teaching you is it's courageous leadership all over again. The intent is pure. If I drop a voicemail into the group chat that's true and pure and some people are offended by it, who gives a fuck? It was the right thing to say. It was the absolute right thing to say. The delivery mechanism may not have been my first choice, but that doesn't deflect from the idea and the fact that what I said in the voice note is exactly what I feel and you got it warts and all, right? Actually, thank goodness that I did it wrong, right? Then I sent it into the WhatsApp group because now it's out there in the open. So never forget that. You're not here to manage people's feelings in any way, shape or form. You are there to be firm, consistent and fair, considerate to a degree, empathetical when you need to be when certain situations arise. But I absolutely cannot walk into this office on any given day thinking, how will somebody interpret what I'm about to say? Because every time I do, it slows down my decision making. And I'm here to make decisions. I'm here to grow a business. And if the right people are aligned, some of my staff have been with me for nearly a decade now in this business. I had Vicky with me for 12 years in the physio business, many of them nearly 10. Can you genuinely believe that every day I said things that I didn't say things that didn't make them think, oh shit, I don't like what he's just said? Every fucking day probably. But where we were aligned was on mutual respect that went over and above being worried about some bluntness or some speed of which I said something or the delivery of how I said it. It went over and above that. And so the real message is become that leader, that there is enough trust between you that you can say things and you're not overly worried about somebody's feelings because your relationship is stronger than that. And it should be that way at home as well. Because again, isn't that the truth of, the most petty, shitty relationships it's always about, but he made me feel, or I just don't like the way she spoke to me, or all that crap that people come out with. It's just a pity party, basically. So I think it's strong leadership, and it's just the what you've said is more important than how you said it. And the bigger the business gets, the more important that becomes for any business owner. and the mantra to have, which is going to be hard for people. It will be hard when you're stuck in that treatment room. You are becoming world-class at treating patients. Every second you treat patients, you are strengthening the part of the brain that gets better at treating patients, and you are neglecting the part of the brain that knows how to deal with conflict and manage people. You won't get much conflict from treating patients in a PT business. Very, very little of your problems are going to come from your patients. None, in fact. 1 out of fucking 1,000. All of your headaches are coming in the form, they're getting on a car, they're getting on a bus, they're coming in an Uber, they're walking through the door. Every problem you've got inside of your business today, I absolutely guarantee you, is a people problem, and that's the way I would sum it up. And you got to get very, very good at understanding people, managing people, studying people, becoming a manager first, and sort of organizing in the beginning of the business, getting out of the way, hiring somebody who's better than you at managing and organizing, and then ultimately becoming a leader and basically saying, this is where we're going. I'm willing to die on the sword. I won't give up on the values or the standards of the company and what I want for my clients and for me and my life and for everybody else associated with the business, which is other employees. I'm willing to die on that sword for the good of the bit. I'm willing to die on that sword to fight you against your bullshit political narrative or your fucking standards or sloppiness or whatever it is that you want to bring into my world that I refuse to have. So you almost just have to become a human punching bag, essentially, because that's what your life becomes as a business owner. So I don't think this person's cooked. I think it's fantastically funny, and I wish I'd met this person before, because I would certainly be giggling that they'd done it, and I just go in and pretend it didn't happen. That would be mine. I'd just walk through the doors and goes, oops. Right, what else we got?
All right, we got Jason Kim in Seattle, Washington.
This one will be fun. Come on.
I missed out.
It's funny how when you tell me the states, I know what's going to come, right? So let's go to Washington. Can we put Washington up there with California?
No, absolutely
not yet.
No, not yet.
It's not far, you know. It's not far. Some of the crazy shit that I hear about from business owners up there of what the staff get up to and what they're thinking. Trust me, it's not far off up there. Anyway, go on.
All right. I missed out on my baby's first year because I was building the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
The clinic did well.
Mm-hmm.
But was it wrong to sacrifice the memories I won't get back?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So again, I'll just repeat the question to make sure I've understood it. So I'm in Seattle, and I have built a successful clinic, but I missed out on some of the memories in the first year of running the business. Absolutely not. Right? That child is going to go on as a result of the stability, as a result of hopefully the lifestyle, the choices that are available to that child, notwithstanding the fact that this business owner, what's her name?
This one is, let me see where she's at. Washington. Jason Kim, Seattle.
Jason. Notwithstanding the fact that Jason is actually achieving his goals, which makes him a more energetic, purposeful father that baby wants, life has a wonderful way of, when you get what you want, somehow, somewhere, making you feel guilty for getting it. And that will never leave anybody, ever. That is business. That is the number one train wreck of life, where in the beginning, the same brain that tells you that it's a good idea to go out to work and provide for your family, that when you then have achieved a level that your family is provided for, tells you it was wrong to go out and provide for your family and that you should have been at home. This is a voice that needs switching off, because it will go on and on and on and on and on. The scenario for most people is the voice in your head tells you that it's okay to go and order a pizza. And then the next day tells you that you are stupid and that you are fat and that you were wrong to order that pizza. And this is the scenario that most people live with all day, every day. The same voice that tells them to do something good or appears to be good, right? Go and enjoy your night out with your friends and get hungover and get drunk. Then the next day tells them that you're stupid for going out with your friends on a night out and getting drunk. Is that not true? Is that not what goes on with all of us, right? So it's understanding that voice doesn't serve you well. And what we need to get to, without getting too spiritual, is the real Jason, the real Paul. Who is he trying to become? What is he about? Is his intentions pure? Is his ambition ugly? Or is it something that is actually for the greater good of his family? And that he's actually setting a precedent in that family for achievement and success and vitality and energy and prosperity and all of these things that child is going to benefit from significantly more. Now, yes, will there be a tiny bit of regret that he didn't see or be around for certain moments? But that should never, ever be clouded with... Now, if you turn around to me and said, I've missed 18 years of my child's life, I'm like, all right, like there's definitely going to be a level of regret there. But we're never going to be able to get both, right? Because some people are sat here now with kids and they've seen every moment of their child in the first 2 years of that child's life, but they haven't got, as we would say in England, a pot to piss in, right? And what that means is there is conversations every night about whether the heating is on, about whether the AC can go on, about whether or not we can afford food this weekend. The child is living in poverty as a result. Now, I'm not here to say which one's right or wrong, but I think there's got to be some acknowledgement that the path that us business owners are on is that there will be some sacrifice and there will be some regret. But as long as it's not terminal and as long as it's not, I missed everything, right? We're going to have to miss some things. But my personal belief on it, I will miss certain things for the kids. I have to, right? Weekends, not so much these days, because I'm always balancing now my ambition with just self-acceptance and more time with the kids, which is more important to me, or as important to me as the more business success. But you take me back to when Harry was born. I was at it, right? I was trying my hardest to I was there late weekends and various things. I probably did miss a few things. Nothing that I look back and think, God, I don't remember him growing up. I was absolutely there. But there were certain things that I wouldn't have, I wish were different. But I look at the life today when I take him to school and what we've got as a family and the stability that we've got. And there's no doubt whatsoever, I don't care what anyone says, if you don't have a little bit of that cash coming in, particularly when kids are around, you're a little bit younger, you can kind of beg, steal and borrow and you make it through, right? Your view of the world's Monday to Friday. And it should be at that point, right? Just get through to the next party, basically. But when the kids come along, right, that's a little bit more scary, right? Because there's this little human that you're responsible for. I think it's every business owner's duty and obligation to get that cash stockpiled and the asset built as fast as is humanly fucking possible. As fast as is humanly possible. Build that business, get the assets in play, bust your nuts off, make the decisions, get things wrong and equally get them right as fast as you can so that you get into a position where, let's say you do have to sacrifice in the first year and a little bit of the second year, but by year 3 and that kid's off to school or preschool or daycare or whatever, you're the one proudly taking him or her in. And I think that's a normal transition for a business owner. That's our journey. That's what we do. And that's the sacrifice that we sign up for. But if I'm still doing it 18 years later, now that's an addiction. That's a cocaine addiction I've got there. I need to be everywhere. That's nothing to do with money anymore. I'm important and too important. I need to be in the office and everybody needs me. So much so that I'm willing to sacrifice my child's moments all the way through their life in favor of being important. And I don't care what anybody says. That's what most business owners are doing 10 years on. They've just declared themselves the most important people in the world and only them can fix things in the business. And they care more about being important than their children. And if that lands, I hope it does, so that it shakes you to start making decisions to spend more time with your kids. Because you keep going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and not coming home till 7 isn't because you need to be there anymore, certainly not 3, 4, 5 years on. It's because you choose to do everything yourself. It's you choose to hire people and not ask them to face up to the responsibility that was on their scorecard that they're being paid for, that you should be asking them to do so that you can get home and pick those kids up. You prefer to be nice and liked and tell everybody that you've got the keys to the office and you're the first one in and last one out because that's wonderful for your ego. Meanwhile, there's a child there thinking, when's daddy coming to the soccer, or when's daddy coming to basketball, or when's daddy or mommy coming to the dance class tonight, or whatever, right? Insert your version of that. It's because you think you're that important that you can do everything. And I say that to piss you off on purpose because sometimes it's the only way to shake people up. That they've become so addicted to the doing of things and the importance of things and them being important to the things that is their life. Much like most people who are non-business owners, by the way, have become addicted to drama. That every night it's the way they're that engulfed in the drama they don't even know that is their life. Every conversation is a drama. Everything is a drama. Every post is a drama. Every fucking thing everybody says is a drama. Anywhere anybody looks is a drama. There's just drama, drama, drama. And in business owners, it's important, important, important. They've told themselves, I'm that important that I have to do these things. And it exposes massive insecurities. And whether we like it or not, if we had an alien come down from Earth and we said, analyze this individual's behavior, what does it tell you about them? That they think that they'd have to say that individual thinks that being at work is more important than being with their children. How long have we been doing this? 5 years? Great. Do you think it's time to start making some different decisions? Yes. Well, why don't we do that? So I think as time goes on, you will always assume, and this is the other way to think about this, and I had to go through this myself. When you hire somebody good that you deliberated on hiring somebody for a year, you eventually get them and you get it right, and your brain always thinks, I should have done this sooner. But what it neglects to understand is that maybe in that 12 months, the circumstances of your life have changed, the business has changed, you have changed, your understanding of how to manage staff has changed, the person that would have applied for the job would have been different. All of those factors don't get considered when your brain says, I should have done this earlier. Because the reality, had you done it earlier, the environment would have been different. You wouldn't have been as good at managing people. The candidate would have been different. Any number of things that could have happened could have been different. And therefore, you wouldn't have been able to say that same outcome. It would be impossible. So your brain is very, very good at lying to you and kidding you. And you need to understand all of this as you evolve, as you grow. The mind, the brain, or let's call it the mind, just isn't good at helping you to be successful and prosperous. And it's not its job to do that. Your job is to rewire that thinking so that you see these things for yourself and you see it differently, and you don't fall foul to all of the stupid nonsense and guilt thinking that everybody else has around the world right now. And that's pretty sad that they do, but they choose Netflix over study. So what more do you expect? They choose TikTok over a book on personal development. They choose Instagram and cats stuck up trees and YouTube and watching stupid shit on the internet versus real self-study and personal development. And as a result, they get the life that they get. And I always go back to that. Personal responsibility is the number one thing that you need to claim. And that is, you want the keys to the kingdom, you want the riches, and you want the freedom and the flexibility. Personal responsibility. That's it. And it's not sexy today. It's not the phrase. It certainly wouldn't win me an election. If anything, I'd probably be pushed off the ballot box for even mentioning personal responsibility. Although there might be some politicians who are starting to preach a little bit more of that these days, but the majority certainly don't. It's not your fault, and somebody else will take care of that for you. And don't you worry, somebody else will pick the tab up for that, which is essentially removing personal responsibility from people. And I think they've been doing it for about 50 or 60 years, which is the reason that the society that we see today is the mess that it's in. Period. Game over. End of. That's it. Personal responsibility has been stripped and become unfashionable. And as a result, you're seeing habits and standards and behaviors that are at a level that I would class as just, let's just call it unremarkable. Let's put it that way. And that is the reason for most people's ill quality of life and lack of choices and freedoms that they want in life, because they won't take personal responsibility for it. You take personal responsibility and you run a business, you have as much upside as you want, because the business is an asset and it'll go, and you leverage it correctly. It can earn a lot of money, and you have personal responsibility. You put those two things together, you're in the top 1%, and that's all it is. That's the only difference. So there we go. That's it. Is that our 3 questions for today?
I think we got time for one more.
Come on then. Quick one.
All right, we got Megan Thompson from Minneapolis. Patients keep asking to see only one of my therapists. I'm worried he's becoming bigger than the business.
Oh, patients keep asking to see one of my therapists. He's becoming bigger than the business. Oh, hands up. Anybody else had this problem? This is a common one for a fast-growing business, and it's nearly always when the business owner steps back and takes less of a front stage, shall we call it. There is that inevitable shift to behind the scenes, to the marketing and to the recruitment and just general running of the business rather than treating of the patients. 2 different things, by the way. What's happening to a large degree, now obviously I don't know how many other staff PT are in the building, but what's happening to a large degree is the business is relying upon reputation. And it immediately tells me that the business doesn't have a strong marketing game. It doesn't have a 24/7 digital lead generation system that would be bringing people in through things like workshops or free information or books being given away, which binds people to the business and not necessarily to an individual therapist, you're probably finding that this person's getting a lot of word of mouth referrals, which is really good because they're obviously very good at what they do, but it obviously also exposes the fact that the business is reliant upon that person's reputation. So I would strongly encourage to take more action in the marketing department and strengthen that area. The way again, these are classic symptoms of business owners that they live with forever, and it's one of the reasons actually why so many business owners stay stuck, because they just don't trust other practitioners. Number one, you have to face up to the business reality that that person might leave, and if they take 20% of the caseload, so be it. Could I still survive if they took 25% of the caseload? If you can't, you have a marketing problem, and you should be not sleeping at night because that might happen. The reality is they won't take 25% of the patients, even if they left. And the reality is most people, if they do set up in business, they're dreadful at it anyway. And it wouldn't be long before you'd probably get those patients back, because the business owner, the great PT right now has nothing to do except being a great PT. When the great PT has to start running a business and deal with all the legals and the finance and the marketing, all of a sudden you find out if they're superhuman or not. But the real answer is not to panic. It is to create a business that is the sum of its parts. And I would tell any business owner this, and this is going to be my contrarian advice to a superstar PT that you are worried about leaving or losing, who might be taking more patients right now and more glory than you. Build the business around the front desk experience. Build the business around great customer service that they won't get anywhere else if they leave. Because my experience has been that people prefer and love the front desk experience, and this is why I'm so obsessed with AI, because the first phone call is a task, and if we can automate that task, it means we can free up time in the front desk area for people to love and to hug and to cuddle and just gossip with and talk and have fun with and all of these things. That will be the ultimate differentiator of any business anywhere in the world. People don't make logical decisions, they make emotional decisions based upon perception. And if great physio is logical, that's why so many physios who are great physios struggle to grow practices, because they're so logical. And meanwhile, somebody who's got the right balance between good enough clinical skills but world-class EQ and emotional intelligence and customer service and loyalty and just making people feel special with eye contact and just being a wonderful human being that is able to transcend being a physio, that's the business that wins. Always and forever, always has, always will be. They're the businesses that win. And that's the business that never has to worry about a rockstar PT, because even if they leave, the patients then have a loyalty to the front desk function and you as well as your business, not just one PT. So if you get caught right now, let's call it with your pants down. If you get caught with your pants down because this person leaves, right, you're exposed, it will be because of two things. You didn't prioritize the overarching experience in the front desk function, in the weight room, and the experience with the team as a whole, and B, because you didn't strengthen the marketing and you didn't move towards a model of trust and education-based marketing that solved problems for people rather than the reputation of a provider inside of your business. And that's my answer. Front desk, Tillaby says, front desk superstars equals totally worth it. I agree. I've said this. You can track me for 12 years of doing this role. The most important person in any business is the girl who I speak to when I walk through the door. Not on the phone, the girl I speak to when I walk through the door. That's it. The one who greets me, the one who gives me the eye contact, the one who humanizes this conversation and relationship that I get to see when I walk through the door with my own eyes. He or she is the absolute most important person in any business. And I was blessed to have Vicky and numerous others who would sit on my front desk, and they would light the room up. They would provide a level of energy and love and experience to my clients that was just, it was too good. Well, it wasn't too good for a small town in Hartlepool. That was disrespectful. It was perfect for a small town in Hartlepool, but it was head and shoulders above what anybody else was doing at that time and would ever be even dreaming of today, because the level of service around the world is so shitty these days, because people have forgot what business is about, which is enriching people's lives, making people feel good, opportunities to light up their day, say hello, I will always judge your business on when the mailman, the postman arrives in the business. I made a point of when that that mailman arrives, you light the day up. You thank him. We say hello to him. He stops for a coffee if he wants one. No other business in Hartlepool was ever making the postman the mailman in England. It works, the same here with the FedEx and Amazon. Do you want a cup of coffee? Our Royal Mailman used to stand in our office with his shorts on in the middle of fucking freezing England, and we'd ask him if he wanted a coffee. It was just part of the remit. That's who we were. That was the place that people wanted to come to. And the mailman, he couldn't wait to come and see us. Now, he'd be telling everybody on his round about us, and every night he'd go and tell somebody about us. It was some of the basics. You look at the businesses today, the same guy walks through the door with your Amazon parcels every day, and they don't even say fucking hello to him. That's the level that we've got to of disrespecting the world. They don't even say hello to the fucking delivery man from FedEx or Amazon when they walk through the door. It's a shrug of a shoulder or a sign here or whatever. A transaction takes place and the guy leaves. So just check your staff next time the Amazon guy or the FedEx guy walks through the door. That'll tell you the level of humans that you've got in your office. Might be wrong, and I might be a dick for saying it and an arsehole, and I usually am, but more often than not, just because I say it and you don't like it doesn't mean it's not true. So there's clues everywhere for the levels of service inside of businesses that goes over and above just being a PT. And every business I know gets screwed over when they rely upon PT and rock stars and don't create a sum of the parts business which is based upon everybody in that building and the overarching experience and how the client feels from the second that they walk through the door. If you become passionate about that and throw in some marketing, you will need suitcases to take the fucking cash home. It is not that difficult, guys. The emotional shit is the problem. How I feel about life and my decisions and the debt and the staff and the reviews and what somebody might say and my parents and all of the other bullshit, that is always and forever your only biggest challenge. You learn a little bit of balls and a little bit of self-belief and a little bit of internal courage and get yourself a strong self-image, not in a grim way or in an egotistical way, just in a I'm good enough way. This world isn't so scary. That's my takeaways. All right.
That's good.
Right, we're done. Thanks, everybody. A lot of people joining us on Instagram there. AJ's personal training. Rendon, nice to see Dr. Abel's office. I haven't seen Abel. Tillaby, please tell Abel, I know you're not too far, well, maybe, but we're over in Los Angeles in a few months. It'd be lovely to see him. We're having a little bit of a reunion. For anybody that's been in my world over the last 10 years, the Cash Pay Summit is a gathering of my top clients, both past and present. He would be very welcome, as would you be, Tillaby. Come over to Los Angeles May 1st, 2nd and 3rd. If I remember correctly, you're over there in that part of the world somewhere. Where else? XL Health UK, nice to see you. We've got Lindsay Reynolds, lovely to see you. We've got Moore Performance joined, My Vital Health. We've got Jeremiah Shark. Shark, are you coming over to LA this year? Be nice to see you. I think you should be there. You were there at the very first event. Tell him to get in touch on Instagram and we'll get him some good tickets. We'll get him a deal for you too. I thought you were in SoCal. Whereabouts? How far from LA? Just type into the chat. I'm also going to do, just for a heads up for everybody listening to this who is in or close to LA, I'll talk about this more in the next few weeks. I'm going to do a press conference for the summit that will take place on Sunday, the 29th of March. 5 weeks before, I'm going to host a meetup, a press conference that will take place in the event hotel. It'll be between 5 and 9 on Sunday, the 29th of March at the Lowe's Hotel. So if you are in the LA area, you can come to that for free. It will be hosted by me. We might do some live Q&A. We might do coffee with Goffy, but I will have food and drinks for you at the after press conference. I'm doing a press conference between 5 and 6, and then 6 till 9 will be a meetup in Los Angeles, so at the event hotel in Hollywood. So if you're in LA or you're not, tell your friends. March the 29th, it's a Sunday. I'll be flying in on the morning. I'm doing a press conference for the Cash Pay Summit, and then I'm going to do a big meetup, host lots of friends, Cash PTs at the event hotel in the Lowe's. That will take place 5 till 9. So if you're not in LA and you want to come, you'd be welcome. If you are in LA, come. And if you're not in LA, tell your friends who are in LA that we're going to be there for the press conference and they could come to it. Tillaby, let's do this. You tell him, and I'll get somebody to reach out. I want him to hear from you that he should be there, and he's welcome to come on the Sunday as well with me. I'd love to see him. But you guys should definitely be there for the Friday, Saturday, and the Sunday. He was a very early member to the Planet Poll community, so it would be lovely to see Abel there I think he was one of my first early accelerator program students, that's for sure. I do remember. So it would be wonderful if Abel was able to, and you as well, were able to make the full weekend, because there's going to be lots for staff as well. So so tell your friends, tell your clinic owner friends that they're very welcome to come. So cashpaysummit.com is the big event that we're all gearing up for now. That's the next big meeting and gathering of the Planet Paul community. Cashpaysummit.com is where all of the information is. Lowest price tickets right now. 4-day event if you want it to be. We're giving away free hotels with the VIP ticket option, and I would love you to be there. Struggling to get past 50,000 in cash pay revenue, this is absolutely for you. If you're already past it, great. Come and sit next to some business owners doing $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million in cash pay, and find out what the next steps are for you. So there we go. This is quite a cool conversation going on Instagram. Tellaby is saying, is it Tiabi? Yeah, Tiabi, sorry. I was top of the front desk superstars class with Barry. You bet you were. I remember well. So that was probably through COVID, was it? When we did front desk superstars every week. Yeah, we did staff training. I remember it. I remember it well. So it would be lovely to see you. Barry will be there as well, by the way. So that would be cool for you to reconnect with Barry at the Cash Pay Summit in LA. So yeah, that would be cool. Barry, I'm going to tell Barry after this. I need to speak to him. So I'll tell him you're asking after him. And let's see you both in LA. Bring more of the staff. Friday, Saturday, Sunday it's going to be. So I think it would be great for you to be there. Right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, producer Jay. I think we're back Friday for another episode of Coffee with Goffy. So yeah, amazing. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.